I think that a community where profit takes precedence over public health cannot be a healthy community. And this community, this plan is getting a $60 million subsidy to open. It wouldn't even be practical for this plant to exist if it were not for those subsidies. And there are a few other folks that have been in favor of this. The trade unions are in favor of it because they see jobs. And East Springfield Neighborhood Council voted in favor of it because Palmer Paving offered to do about $500,000 of infrastructure improvements. I bet if they had a chance to go back and look at it now, they might reach a different decision. But a profit motive is driving this plant. And then last but not least, I think an impoverished community cannot be a healthy community. And I don't know anybody who isn't having a harder time getting by this year than they did last year or the year before. Our electricity bills continue to go up. People are struggling to make ends meet. If the amount of money that is going into this plant were put instead into weatherization and conservation programs, it would save everybody money. And this is our money that would be saved, by the way, because there's nowhere for the state and federal government to get this money if it's not for the taxpayers who pay in. And in fact, yesterday in the New York Times, apparently President Obama is considering a new plan called cash for clockers instead of cash for clunkers. And it would basically create jobs to go in and weatherize homes, and homes that get this kind of weatherization will save 30% on their electric bill and their heating bill. And this plant isn't going to save us a penny if it goes forward, not one penny.
We live in an area that is already failing in air quality. The ramifications of an increase in health problems related to an increase in air pollution would be far-reaching in terms of personal loss, decrease in the quality of life, loss of productivity, and increased healthcare expenses.
As an asbestos inspector, I realized that the paints contain asbestos. Asbestos is a mineral rock which causes mesothelioma, asbestosis, and lung cancer. All of them are deadly disease. It causes, the latency is from 15 years to 45 years. So you could be exposed today and you may not get the symptoms 40 years down the road. So who's going to be affected by this? Your children, your future, our family. In addition, asbestos, when it's burned, which is in paint, when it's burned, the paint burns by itself, which causes organic compound, VOC, volatile organic compound. But asbestos itself, it does not, it's a fire resistant, it does not burn. What becomes, all the asbestos become airborne. And it floats in the air indefinitely. So in Palmer, you can get the asbestos fiber back in Boston even, all the way up to New York City. So this is extremely important that has not been mentioned during the presentation that I would like to bring up to your attention. Clean air standards is 0.01 fiber per cubic centimeter. Action level is 0.1 fiber per cubic centimeter. No, the action level is the permissible exposure level. Tomorrow I'm attending a safety conference with the head of the OSHA is going to be presented. Many of the permissible exposure level and threshold limit value going to be increased or doubled very much. I expect it by next year. So whatever we're talking about right now, it will be 10 times more in future, a year or 2 years from now. And I don't know what's going to happen. Even if they get a permit, either they have to be shut down, or I'm very much afraid that they're going to be grandfathered. And that's something that we should not allow this power plant to be in place. I ask everyone, it's extremely important, it's a matter of life and death. As a safety officer, who I am, and a licensed asbestos and lead paint, it's important for all of you to please attend the December 2nd permit hearing. It's the final chance. It's a matter of life and death for every one of you and your children. Please attend this meeting. It's a final chance. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jesse Letterman. I'm the youth representative to the McKnight Neighborhood Council Board of Directors. I'm also the chairman of the McKnight Neighborhood Youth Council.
Hi, my name is Maya Reinhardt. I am a member of the McKnight Youth Council.
First of all, I'd just like to say how happy I am to see everybody here tonight, especially our newly elected city government. I see Ward 6 City Councilor Keith Wright, Mike Fenton, and I know John Lysak was here, and also Councilors Markey and Moriarty. Unfortunately, our neighborhood council president couldn't be here tonight, Greg Hessian. He's in a meeting with the city, but he does want it known that the McKnight Neighborhood Council's position on the toxic waste incineration right now is that we don't want any more permits issued until the public has had ample time to explore the impact that it will have on the city.
Also, from the McKnight Youth Council, we also endorse everything that was said tonight opposing the toxic incinerator, and we have a letter to the Health Council.
It is the first time this issue has been aired publicly.
Yeah.
It did come before the council, which I sat on. I and Rosemary Moriarty voted against it. It was sold to the council as an economic development engine for Springfield, as so many bad ideas in Springfield are sold. Will this generate jobs? Certainly. Will they be for Springfield residents? That's not at all clear. Will there be scrubbers that will minimize the amount of pollution that's spread into the air? Certainly. But will there be a net increase in the pollution in Springfield that we will have to breathe? Absolutely. And in a city that already suffers from severe health consequences, poor air, asthma rates that are higher than normal, lead poisoning rates that are twice the average for the state, we cannot afford a single ounce of additional pollution.
All right.
We consider ourselves to be at the crossroads in New England. Unfortunately, not always for economic development. We're unfortunately at the crossroads in New England in terms of poor air quality coming up from New York and from the Midwest plants. We can't add any more. It's really the bottom of the ninth right now. There's 2 outs. December 18th, this passes if we don't make enough noise. So go out, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, show up at the next meeting, start a revolution. This can't happen. This is the worst thing that can happen.
Cities within a 5-mile radius of the proposed Springfield biomass site have a slightly higher aggregate breast cancer rate than the state average. The proposed Palmer Renewable Energy biomass plant is not the green answer to the dilemma of renewable energy. Burning, construction, and demolition debris releases toxic chemicals into our air, which ultimately can lead to diseases such as breast cancer. In a state which is already afflicted with higher than average breast cancer rates, we believe that not one more woman and not one more generation should needlessly affected by breast cancer diagnosis. Opposing this biomass plant is one place to start.
You mentioned something about 45 vehicles, double stacks of diesel engine going for approximately 4 hours before they get in and out of there, because you're going to have 45 or 50 of them, you say, going in there every day. They're going to, not to speak of when you got snow retired them, they'll burn all day long, half the day until they get in and out of there. You already got 40 of them units going in on Cottage Street to the landfill. They've been doing that for 3 or 4 years now, dragging mud in and out, including that area. And that is in the same radius of 1/8 of a mile. Now you're going to have, we just repaired, spent about $3 or $4 million doing Crew Street and Page Boulevard. Those are 50,000-pound loads. You're talking 60,000 pounds or 80,000 pounds gross weight each one. And on a hot day in the summer, they just make mush out of that highway. You're going to have that going on for a year. We just finished that, developing that. Can you imagine what 5 o'clock traffic's going to be at Roosevelt Avenue and Crew Street just before that? And O'Brien's Corner, when people want to get home for supper, you go out of your bloody mind.
Yep.
Thank you very much.